open at 9 o'clock. Oh, we have extra for you. On February 6th, I'm Erin Shaver, chairman of this meeting. Will the recording secretary do roll call?
Craig Toth. Here. Judy Burkhart. Absent. Jamie Harper. Here. Erin Shaver.
Here.
Chris Martin. Here.
There are 5 members of the committee, thus any decision must have 3 votes to pass. The minutes were given to the committee members. Are there any questions or corrections? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We have one public hearing today for case 26-1. This case is the petition of Shepler Construction requesting a PUD development plan review for fencing height along High Street and Yorktown Road, garage size, which actually isn't, we took that out, but we'll talk about that, and the building and swales affecting drainage. The properties are located at Lexington Village, lots 1 through 52 on Mike Anderson Lane, North Dingo and South Dingo Drive, Logansport, Indiana, in a zone LV PUD. Has any committee member been in contact with any petitioners, advocates, or opponents in regards to the petition today? No. We do our staff. So, has proper notification been made, and do we have proper verification in all cases? Yes. We are taping the meeting. All wishing to speak must come to the microphone and state their name and address. Comments not made at the microphone won't be considered part of the testimony. So I read the case already, but I'll go ahead and explain, and then if John or Mike want to add to this at all, they can. So as things are developing at Lexington Village, we have had a few things that have come up that needs to be clarified, and the standards that we go by when a permit is submitted. If they're not in these standards that have already been approved by staff, then those have to come back to this meeting. So what we try to do is have everything on our standards list so that they don't have to come to this meeting every time and that the permit can just be pulled. So for accessory structures, we haven't had really that yet, but as we know, accessory structures usually come in after they start living in there and accumulate stuff. So we wanted to make sure that we had the standard, and what we did is just did the standard that was same in our zoning ordinance. So 1-story primary structures may not have an accessory structure exceed 16 feet in height, and a 2-story or taller primary structure may not have an accessory structure exceed 24 feet in height. So just basically, so the accessory structure doesn't exceed the height of the primary structure. Square footage, no accessory structure can exceed the total footprint square footage of the primary structure. So this is something that we also have in the zoning ordinance for other districts, just making sure that it's not a whole lot of just a garage. Yes. And then for fencing, because this area is a little different and we have all the buildings facing the new roads. We have High Street in Yorktown, that's basically their backyard. And so similar to what we do on Roselawn, is it Roselawn? And Cass Plaza Drive. Market Street area where they're facing, other streets. We have it that they can have 6-foot privacy fence. So what we have here, and I was going to ask if we should make an amendment to this as well. We have properties bordering along High Street and Yorktown Road are allowed to be 6 foot in height in the front yard setback facing said roads as long as it meets the drainage portion of the Lexington Village subdivision standards. So, and I'll go through drainage here in a minute. The only other thing that I thought maybe we should add in here is Corporal Sanchez, because they're a corner lot. So, so that they could, maybe not all the way to the sidewalk, but maybe like that, they can go 3 feet or something.
If they lined it up with the house is what they would have to do. It would almost cut their yard in half on that in the back.
So I don't know if we want it right up to the sidewalk, but I thought maybe if we put a standard in that it can go, 3 feet to the sidewalk or something, so that they could have more of a yard space, and then still a strip to mow. Maybe you guys don't have a problem with all the way to the sidewalk, that's kind of up to the board. So that one I thought there might be some discussion on, but since there is one house built there already, I wanted to bring that up as well. And then drainage, there's a lot of, when that was developed, a lot of movement of dirt to make sure everything drained appropriately and got to the ponds. And so we want to make sure that no swales can have any construction, fill, or changes that would modify that stormwater drainage flow. Making sure that we're not puddling onto some properties or closing that off. So those are basically the changes that I had. Initially, does staff have any, or sorry, does the board have anything for staff? Question-wise, and then, like I said, the one discussion was just kind of Corporal Sanchez, whether or not we just say adjacent to the property line like we normally do, because there is that separation. They do have the sidewalk and then the tree lawn and then the road, so there is some separation, so it's not all the way to the road.
What's your ask?
So on the Corporal Sanchez, so on those corner lots, you have to align with the house. Anything in front would be a front yard, so they can't do 6-foot tall fence. And so if they wanted to enclose their backyard, side yard, they wouldn't be able to do it. So what my question is do we allow them to do it adjacent to the property line, which would be the back of the sidewalk, basically? Or do we want some separation between the sidewalk and where the fence goes? Obviously, that means then they would have to come out and mow that area and stuff, but based off city code, they're already, as the lots get sold, would be mowing that tree lawn anyway.
So you're talking about allowing them to put the fence right up against the sidewalk?
That or some sort of separation. I think having them align the house cuts the yard in half, and we'll be hearing those cases. We can leave it open to just, there's 2 lots. So we can leave it open and just, when they want to do a fence, they come in and talk to us, or we can specify today.
You're still gonna keep it 4 foot along, Corporal Sanchez Drive, though, right?
No, that's the question. Does it need to be 4 foot or 6 foot for them, because that's their side backyard? Mike Anderson Lane and Dingo Lane, or Dingo Drives, will be for the 4 foot.
By the letter of your normal standard, I think those 2 lots, you ought to keep the side lot. Don't make me think I'm wrong, but I think you ought to keep that Purple Sanchez at 4 foot,
Okay.
because that's a true corner.
I,
And I think that would be, even if you went it right up against that sidewalk, it's still only gonna be 4 foot tall. It's not gonna be obtrusive. But
Well-
those houses that are along Yorktown and High Street, they're
There's not a
being,
corner.
that, what we're doing here to allow them to have 6 feet on those High Street Yorktown sides, I think is the right thing to do. And I could, if you wanted to do 6 foot on that one, I don't think there's a need for it, right?
Okay.
I think,
yeah, so, I mean, it's 4 feet right now. My question was on those corner lots. And like I said, there's gonna be the ones on Lexington too. So those 6 lots, if they want to do higher than 4, we just have them come back, because we don't know the situation or what they're wanting to do. That's probably best. That's how we have it right now. So if you guys are good with that, then if they want to enclose it, they would just come here and we would review that. But definitely Yorktown and High Street, it would be similar to what we do on Cass Plaza Drive and Market Street, where those have fences facing those roads. So you're okay with leaving it how we have presented it?
I could see, and I think Jamie's correct, I think the location, the adjacent to the property line, that needs to be discussed for those 2 lots, corner lots.
But you're saying if it's 4 foot, it's okay?
I don't think a problem with 4 foot.
Yeah, so 4 foot would be allowed, that's
I
not,
think you have a reason, and it's the standard throughout the city, I think. If you're on
yeah.
a corner lot,
So we were talking about 6 foot, if we would allow 6.
I don't think you should do 6.
Okay.
I think you should take away from, to be honest, but I could see it up against the fence, or up against the sidewalk, I don't think that would make a difference.
No. If it's 4 foot, it would be allowed to do that. It's the question of the 6 foot. That's what I wanted to bring up. We're doing Yorktown and High, but my question was on those corner lots, do we establish anything there?
Right, and they can still come and ask for.
Yep, that's what I was saying. Those 6 lots out of the 52, They would be the only ones that would have to come here.
You've got,
You got Lexington also,
Oh,
you
that's
got
true.
4 lots
Okay.
right there.
yeah. So I would say leave it, because I think it is good to be able to review those, just to understand where exactly they're wanting to put it, instead of putting a general standard. So we'll just leave it, if the board's okay with that, we'll just leave it how it's written today then. Okay. Anything else you guys want to add? This is a public hearing, so I guess I didn't do this. Anybody wishing to speak, let's come to the microphone, which you didn't, but it's okay, we can pick you up. But I need to swear you in, I think. So, does anybody in the public also want to speak? Do you guys have questions?
I did. I live
Okay.
on Yorktown Road there, and I just thought, I don't know. Ever since they started that, they moved all that dirt back, and then it's been a mess up, in my opinion, ever since they got started over there.
Okay. Mess and dirt?
Drain going down along Yorktown Road, it starts up there, by that business there, just by Home Depot.
Is that even on?
The water comes over there and it washes down through there. It just eats the dirt right out of there.
Do you know what area he's talking about?
Office,
Oh, okay.
coming this way. I may be wrong, but I think when you could establish lawns, that's gonna make a difference too.
It might, but right now, all the thing that's growing over there is weeds. And they just pull the weeds. They did throw out a little grass seed the first start, but after moving all that dirt and stuff around and you're in the subsoil, the grass doesn't wanna grow, so it's just all weeds there right now.
Well, I can let the redevelopment commission know that maybe instead of just mowing, they might want to look at putting additional seed down. The problem is seed doesn't always take, and as construction of those lots happen, you're gonna have those drainage. It's like any construction, you have mud, drainage, those type of things happening with.
Can you come up and tell us who you are?
Yeah,
and
state your name
where
and
you
address.
live? Because I want to see your street. I'm going to pull up your street, what address you're at, because I'm incredibly sympathetic to that.
Oh, just right here.
At that
Right,
table?
first chair, right in the middle. Yep.
State your name and address.
William E. Pear.
What is it?
William E. Pear, 204 Yorktown Road.
204. Do you go by William or Bill?
I go by Bill.
All right, Bill. You know, my issue with this is, you know, we're building 5 houses a year, and that's their plan. He's looking at years of that occurring.
With it, yeah.
And that's unacceptable. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to look at that. I wouldn't want to, and, you know, having that be a construction zone for that period of time, it needs to not be a construction zone. It needs to be a almost park area, not that we'll use it for that, but it needs to be something that gets mowed and treated and cared for until a house gets put up there. It can't be a construction zone for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, so-
And that's what's happening, and that's the complaints I hear
Yeah.
from the people around it. He's not the only one.
So redevelopment commission is the one that owns the property and has been doing the maintenance on the properties. So, I can bring it up to them, but what might be better is if you and your neighbors come to one of the redevelopment commission meetings, which are,
It's not a big ask to come to the meeting and say that, because they're going to be sympathetic to it too, because everybody, their plan is 5 houses a year, and they're on plan, right? So that's great. Everybody's thrilled about building houses there, and that's exactly what we wanted. But if you look at, you know, even if it went to 10 houses a year someday, that's 5, 6 years of construction, and no one wants to live next to a construction zone for 6 years. So it needs to look like a soccer field, you know, just a field, until someone puts a house in it, and then you dig and you build in that area. But to leave it just dirt and weeds,
yeah, they haven't done any seeding but that first time, like you said. The rest of it, they're just mowing the weeds, that's how they've been maintaining it. But for you to know, do you want a pen to write down the date? It's, the February 19th at 11 a.m. in this room is, you got it? Is the next meeting that they have. They changed the date. I'm pretty sure that's the right.
February 19th at 11.
So they're the ones that actually,
That
it's in here.
In here.
So they're the ones that actually, at 11. So they're the ones that actually do the maintenance of that area. So they're the ones that need to hear that concern. We're just establishing the standards for building in that area.
And I
Yeah,
suggest you,
know that they, they dug the big pond down there for water runoff and stuff. And when they made that ditch along there, along Yorktown Road, it's washing the dirt away and then just fills it, settles in the pond, so I guess it doesn't make me any different, really. But-
Yeah, they've talked about having to dredge it and stuff at some point and doing those things to maintain the pond as well. But that's gonna be your best bet, because they're the ones that actually do the maintenance
Own it.
of those properties.
yep, and I would tell them what your solution is. I would say to them, this needs to be graded and put grass seed and maintained like, just like a soccer field would be or anything else, because I wouldn't want to look at that no one wants to look at that for 6 years. And that's what everyone says.
And they still got the socks, they were long,
Yeah, that's exactly right. All that silt screen stuffing, all that silt screen needs to go away until a house gets put up, and then you silt screen around that house that's being built, and the rest of it stays as a field.
I always thought, my own opinion there, that the drainages on, between each lot are probably twice as deep as they need to be, in my opinion, but whatever they
Well,
want.
that's all been engineered.
All that's been engineered, Greg's right. It was all done to the end, they calculate all the water that's coming out of that area, and that's what determines the size of the swales.
Yeah.
And that's why, part of the reason why we're having this meeting here today, because we don't want any of those swales changed. And I appreciate the fact that you think it's too big, but we've got people with letters behind their names that have created the size of this to determine where the water goes on a 100-year flood. That's why they're sized the way they are. So if we have a 100-year drain, we don't want that area flooding. And so they can calculate all the water that's gonna be going into that, and then it goes into that pond, and none of the houses should be affected. That's the reason why the swells are the way they
Yeah.
are. And I appreciate, I'm not here arguing with you, I hope you understand this. As far as the grass goes, you need to understand the process. The very first thing they did, F&K is a developer, they're the ones that created that.
Yeah,
all the
from the
lots.
floor.
So the first thing they did was took those scrapers, went through that entire area and picked up all the topsoil. And they placed it over along High Street. Do you remember that big berm that was all along High Street? That was all topsoil. Well, it's the topsoil that was there. And everyone involved in this subdivision would agree that that topsoil was terrible topsoil. Okay? But they did separate, they did what they're supposed to do. When they created all the lots, put the swales in, they have all the pads in the elevations they're supposed to be. Then they put that topsoil, put them back in those earth movers, and spread it all around everything. And that, there not a lot of it, but it's exactly how it's supposed to do. Grass needs that topsoil to go and grow. It can
right.
grow in crappy soil, but it doesn't grow very well, and that's exactly what's going on here. What we have found since we started building these houses, is we then scrape that topsoil back off. Dig the holes for whether it's a basement or a crawl, put the house back in, and put that topsoil back in, and my landscaper was having a hell of a time getting grass to grow. So now if you notice, the houses that were done, we hauled topsoil in.
Yeah, I seen it was so bad that, they had to scrape off so much and they had to haul in some black dirt and then,
Terrible soil to grow grass. So if you guys do go down that road, there's gonna be some pretty expensive costs to be able to make it this soccer field that Greg's talking about. And I don't care, it's fine with me, but it's gonna be expensive because the first thing they're gonna need to do is haul in topsoil and cover the entire thing, and that is outrageously expensive, to be able to get grass to grow. And I think Mike is correct in that the vegetation growth there is so bad because they couldn't get grass to grow. And I believe when they did it, I think that's when we had our drought, that we didn't get a lot of rain. So it sat there with, done again, I don't think you're gonna find much better result, but that will help with that erosion, for sure, because that's.
Right.
So it's, you have kind of a catch-22 here. When they did it properly, but they did it within the soils that we had available without hauling anything in. The city's already put $5 million into this thing. So to throw probably, I don't even know how much it costs, but it's gonna be a lot of money to bring a lot of topsoil in and then seed it is gonna be even a more huge expense, of which the city, in my opinion, is already really doing a great job of trying to promote residential construction in the city. So again, I'm not trying to argue with you on what to explain it.
Yeah.
Just to what's actually going on.
I just thought that they went overboard. I didn't know how many million they spent, but I figured they'd spent a lot of $1 million moving that dirt around. And like over there where I live, just went with what was there and he built on it. Well, I know they had a fancy guy to design it all and everything else. I just figured it was an awful lot of expense that wasn't necessary.
Well, it is necessary, to be honest. The city's done it the right way. And you've got to plan for the worst weather that's coming, so nobody gets flooded out. They have to know where every drop of that water is going, and they do, and that's why Aaron is trying to be so diligent, because one of the homes that we built, they put a pool in, they wanted a fence, and that's when everybody kind of slapped their forehead and realized, wait a minute, they could be changing the swales, in doing this, and there's no verbiage saying that they can't do it. So that's the only reason we're here today, is trying to protect the investment the city has put into it, because it's done properly, and also make sure that down the road, the people that come and put all that money into these houses, their houses don't get flooded because someone down flowed from them on those swales, decided to block it up because they didn't want to mow it, and now backs everything up, floods their house. That's what they're trying to prevent.
Yeah, when they dig a basement or anything else too, they gotta haul the dirt away. I mean,
We can't just throw it too, because.
Well- slope it down a little bit.
We do, we let the houses up out of the ground, we have a minimum elevation height we have to the house. We put the houses there, and then we raise it up 8 inches from there, because we want 8 inches of reveal all the way around the house, and everything slopes down, slopes to those swales. We can't go below that, we can go above, we just can't go below. So,
Those are engineered locations too.
exactly, and that's exactly why we haul all that dirt off. I mean, we're, for like a basement, we're hauling almost 100 loads. And we have to pay to get rid of that.
I
I
know,
love
like-
spreading out on the site.
That's what I was thinking about, awful lot of expense, in my opinion, is not necessary, but.
It is necessary and important, because I'd love to sell 20 houses a year, but the Logan Sports Market just won't handle that. And so it's going at the rate that we're hoping it goes, and everybody's been happy with how everything's looking, they're all different sizes and things like that, but, and different looks, which is exactly what the city wanted. But there are some pitfalls that we're aware of, and that's exactly why we're here today. So, hopefully, if you have any more questions,
That's fine.
But yeah, I would definitely go to the redevelopment commission just to state your concern, because they are the owners of the property and the ones that maintain it. So just so they know there is concerns, because even though Greg's getting calls, the people on that board may have never received any complaint. So they may not know.
That's okay. I just thought I'd state my ideas.
Thank you for doing it.
Yes. Anybody else in the audience? Uh-oh. Come on up.
I'm here for the mayor's neighbors. I'm over at Grass and stuff, and, did you guys discuss the fence line?
So-
High Street?
Not
The-
the line, discuss heights and where it can be placed, I guess.
For the fence?
Yes,
Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
you know, her name is, Pauline Dollar, she lives next to her mayor's grandpa. And she thinks it would be really more or less ugly to see a wooden fence, plastic fence, this fence, that fence,
I got a letter from her.
yeah. Yeah, but you want me to come here and keep it a long time, but why didn't we just have like a one fence line? You know, like,
So the city, we talked about that previously, but with the costs and the additional costs that we're having to put in, they took out because they were gonna do, so what happened with like, Cass Plaza, they put in one, and then over the years, it broke down and people started putting up their own, so now you have a hodgepodge of different fences. But, we did talk about doing just like a one fence that everybody, it was the same, layout, the same look, the same everything, but that was kind of cut when we needed to cut budget things, so.
Standard that it's the,
Yeah, you guys can make it standard. So, let me read this. I'm 88 years old, just got out of the hospital, and I object to the wooden fencing. The fence will get old looking and fall over. I know the current one that's out there is wood. No one will take care of them, but a metal type fence would be better, like they have around the pond. So she's talking, the problem is that, thanks, Olena, Dollar? Okay. She's, they're wanting privacy, she's wanting a nice looking fence. I get the difference. A lot of subdivisions will do like a white vinyl, along that sidewalk or whatever. We can put standards that it has to be vinyl and not wood if we want. They'd still be able to, unless we wanted to specify where they'd have to put it, they'd still be able to put it wherever they wanted, but at least it would be cohesive in the look. The one that's up there right now is wood. We do not have any standards of what it can and cannot be. It could even be chain link right now. So, I think, right? Or am I wrong? Jamie gave me a look, so maybe I'm wrong.
Vinyl or wood?
Okay, so vinyl or wood, there's the only ones we allow. In the city, we allow chain links. So right now, vinyl and wood are the ones we allow. If we want, we could say that they all have to be vinyl. Obviously, the ones that's existing is existing. But we did already put some stuff in there about that.
what do you think Owen would run? What do
What's that?
you think Owen would run? Just straight down,
Wood, obviously, over time gets grayed, falls over, but vinyl can also get hit with a lawnmower and get chipped, so,
yeah.
yeah.
It's, this subdivision is supposed to be not a huge high-end subdivision. It's supposed to be where it's like medium income. You start doing that, you're raising the price of fences. Vinyl fences are a lot more than wood fences. If you guys have issues with the way the fence looks, then I would create a standard about maintenance of the fence as opposed to the type of fence.
Yeah, and it still meets the building code, so it's not like it's its own, like, town. Like, if it starts falling over, the building commissioner can say it's no longer meeting code and make them go repair it. Now, if it's grayed instead of the newly cedar look or whatever, we don't have anything on that. But at least if it's falling over or broken or those type of things, we have the opportunity, based off building code, to say you need to make sure it's secured and appropriate.
Right. But we had a lot of people that asked about fences and.
Especially in that high-traffic area, so, I mean, it makes sense.
Wood fences, you mow it, it gets chipped. To me, that looks worse than a fence with, a wood fence with patina on it.
Yeah, the vinyl.
And so, if it's chipped, are you gonna go to these homeowners and say, you gotta replace your one plank? And you can't just replace one plank, typically you gotta replace the entire
Yeah.
6-foot section.
And then they don't make that style anymore.
Exactly.
And it doesn't match.
State of the weather,
Yeah.
you're going down the wrong road on that, in my opinion. And I think it's too restrictive for the people that live in that subdivision.
We could add that, not, keep it, I'm just saying the metal, because she said metal. We don't currently allow metal, but we could say that, like, they could have, what type of fencing is that?
Retaining wall metal?
Well, yeah, like, like, not a metal fence, not like you're gonna put up metal, panels or whatever, but the
Like a
iron,
Iron fence,
yeah, the iron fence or whatever.
but it doesn't give you the price.
Right, but that we could allow, I mean, I was just adding that we could allow it, so that if they wanted to do that. Right now, we just say vinyl or wood.
Here's what I would suggest, if you really want to create a landscape type situation where you're separating those lots from people being able to see them and have it be beautiful or pretty, is get those green rocket trees and put them along Yorktown.
And we talked about that as the city as well. I mean, we have a lot of right-of-way there, but there's a lot of utilities there.
But that's, but that would be, I mean, those things grow, I had them when I lived on Princeton Lane.
Yeah.
They're like 14 feet tall, gorgeous. And they grow very fast and it's, so, but if you, matter of fact, I'd even thought about, Mike and I had discussed it, with Bill, about seeing if they wanted to do something like that, just to try to give that privacy separation. I think it'd be easier to sell those lots along the Dingo Drive. Not sell the lots, but sell houses. So, just something to think about. But I'm against the standard of vinyl fencing only for that subdivision.
Okay.
Two cents.
Any thoughts from the board on that? Do you guys want to add anything?
I think it should be one fence. We should set a standard that says, this is it. Give them 2 choices, 3 choices, have it be vinyl. I don't care what it costs. People got to look at this forever. We've got to set standards. I think having hodgepodge different fences is just going to look terrible over time. But you're right, it's more expense and it's people's expense and
And at the end of the day, they may not put up anything, and so you still have a hodgepodge or where they put it.
right, you could have 3 houses and then not one and then,
I think the beginning of it, the great idea is just make it a subdivision, even though it'll cost more money,
should have.
but they kind of, you know,
Yeah, both those things were talked about at the very beginning of the whole thing, and it just, when you have to make cuts, those are the things that go.
Someone's still gonna have to maintain it.
Yeah,
When it's on the backside of your property, you don't see it, not every day.
yeah,
And that's what the other people are gonna be seeing, yeah.
right. I think it's another one to bring up, before we put a standard in, I think it's another one to bring up to redevelopment commission and to say there's been a concern that they want a more cohesive look.
what day is that?
It's the,
February 19th
it's like, I have to get.
At 11 o'clock.
at 11 a.m.
11 o'clock.
Wait.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the audience? Okay. Huh. No, I guess that's just variances, since we didn't have a variance. Yeah, I was reading the variance section. So, it looks like after discussion, we're gonna leave what's been presented. Does that seem correct to the board? Okay. For this round. So, there's no one else in the audience. Do I have a motion to, let me read my stuff here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Written correspondence did that, rebut. You have any additional things to say? John, Mike? You good?
I think so.
Okay. Is there a motion to bring case 26-01 to a vote?
I make a motion to bring it to vote.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Discussion is closed. We'll take a few minutes to do our findings of fact. These findings are weird.
Well, I'm not sure we accomplished.
Will the recording secretary please take a roll call vote?
Craig Toth,
Yes.
Jamie Harper. Approve. Aaron Shaver. Chris Martin.
Your case 26-01 has been approved. Any decision of this committee may be appealed to by the petitioner or any interested parties to the Logansport Common Council if filed within 5 days of today's date. Thank you for all that who have cooperated in this hearing. I don't have anything additional. Any public comments? Nope. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.